better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we are going to discuss about the AWS training contents.
Okay.
What we are going to learn in AWS. So first one is Amazon EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. So introduction to Amazon EC2, EC2 benefits, use cases, what are the features, what are the instance types. So EC2 is nothing but a server, a virtual server. So for example, we have Windows servers, Linux servers are there. So EC2 instance is nothing but a virtual server. Instance types means like we have different hardwares are there, like Lenovo, Dell, HP, IBM, like that. So like that instances also, we have different types of instances are there. So what are the different types of instances? What are their features? So each and everything we are going to discuss in the class Amazon EC2 class. That is the first introduction class we are going to discuss in cloud, AWS cloud. Next, Amazon EBS. Amazon EBS means elastic block storage. So elastic block storage is nothing but a storage which is block level storage. Remember, block level means, for example, in our laptop internally we have a disk is there. That is a block level disk. What we done, so we divided into partitions, C drive, D drive, like that. Like in AWS cloud, whenever we launch instance, so whenever we bought a laptop, by default internal one disk is there. In AWS also, when we launch the instance, automatically they will allocate one EBS volume. Is nothing but a disk. That is called root volume. By default, with OS will come. For Linux instance, 8 GB will come. For Windows instance, 30 GB will come. That is we are going to discuss in our classes. So then, what are the Amazon EBS volumes? EBS size and capacity, EBS benefits, what are the use cases, what are the volume types, how to take the snapshot. So as a cloud administrator, when we attach the instances, when we attach the EBS volumes to the instance, so we can take backups. So that is nothing but a snapshot volume. So that snapshots we can uh, copy from one region to another region. That is, I will show you what are the regions, what are the availability zones. Just now I will show you. Go to AWS Global Infrastructure. Here we can understand. These are the regions. So each region we have different availability zones. Canada Central 3 availability zone. AWS Go Cloud US East 2 3 availability zones. So availability zone is nothing but a data centers. So Mumbai, we have Mumbai region, 3 data centers are there, availability zones. Like each region, different availability zones, data centers are available. So for example, if you are working with Mumbai region, if you take a snapshot of a volume, so that volume you can move into Singapore region, whatever it may be, where you want to move, we can move the volumes. So that is how to do everything we are going to discuss in the elastic block storage. So different EBS snapshots we are going to see, EBS features. Volumes also different types volumes are there. What are that we are going to discuss in that class. Next, elastic IP address. So whatever the public IP assigned by the AWS is not permanent. Every time it will be changed so that we can give permanent IP. It is called elastic IP address. For example, when we are working with our laptop, automatically one IP will come from internet. means our internet service provider. But if you want to set your own IP address, so you can go to your open networking and sharing center, change adapter settings. So there is Ethernet card, go to properties. Now you can assign your own IP address. So this IP assigned for communicating my Linux servers in my VMware workstation servers. Like in cloud also, by default when we launch instance, they will assign one public IP. Through that IP address only we are going to log into our cloud instance. We have to launch our instances. So every time if your public IP is changing, so whatever the websites, web servers you configured, so every day your IP will be changed. So that is the reason what we have to do. We can go for the permanent IP. That is nothing but a elastic IP address. So here we are calling as OS level static IP. In cloud environment, that static IP, permanent IP, whatever it may be, that is called elastic IP address. Next, AWS Identity and Access Management. This is everybody knows who knows very well of administration part, Linux administration, or Windows Server administration, Solaris administration, whatever it may be. So root administrator privileges we can assign to the normal users. For example, I am a root administrator. I can do anything. So what I want to do, I can give some privileges to normal users. For example, here you can see my AWS account. See root user. So account owner that perform tasks requiring unrestricted access. So as a root holder, so I can create IAM users. Users within an account that perform daily tasks. So whatever the services are there, resources are there. So as a root user, I can use any resource service, unrestricted privileges. So as a root user, I can create a normal user, I can give some privileges. So that is the class we are going to discuss in our class, AWS Identity and Access Management. So introduction to AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM features, and multi-factor authentication. We have a MFA, two-way authentication is there. For example, we have a online bank account is there. So we are using your username and password. Even also, while you are transferring the money, it will ask you the OTP. So like the same way, in AWS Identity Access Management, if I create IAM user also, if I given credentials also, and second way factor authentication also I can assign. That is multi-factor authentication, virtual MFAs, users security credentials, temporary credentials, manage permissions and policies, how to manage users, IAM groups, accessing IAM, everything. We are going to discuss in the class AWS Identity and Access Management. Next, Amazon S3 storage. Already explained you EBS, elastic block storage, that is block level storage. S3, object level storage. Object level means, for example, see, already explained you. Block level means when I bought a laptop, there is a device, hard disk is there. I created some partitions. So that is block level device. I divided into as my wish. Now object level means I can share my E drive. Somebody they can keep files in my E drive. Means this is object level. So like in S3, they given object level storage also. So introduction to Amazon S3 benefits, use cases, what are the key features. Here also S3 also we have different storage classes are there. What are the storage classes? Standard storage, standard infrequent access data, Glacier, like backup purpose, like infrequent access data. For example, standard IA storage. Standard IA means infrequent access. So every day I am taking the classes of AWS and Linux server administration. So every day I can open these two folders only: AWS class videos, AWS class practical scenarios, Linux class. Nowadays I am not teaching Solaris. This folder I am not opening, and VMware administration also I am not teaching nowadays. I am not opening this one. So these are infrequent access. So when I required, then only I can access them. So last 2 years, 3 years onwards, I am not accessing these two folders or any other folders. So this type of data in cloud environment, whatever the data you are not frequently using, so you can move into Glacier storage because low cost. So we have the prices are there for data storing. We have the prices is there. So depending upon how much data you are utilizing, they will charge. So here I will explain S3 pricing. So S3 pricing and data size, how much data we can upload free tier eligible account. 5 GB of the data you can put into your cloud, and 15 GB data transfer you can do per month up to 1 year. That everything we are going to discuss on Amazon S3. And hosting website on S3 storage. So if you are a web developer, if you developed one website, so directly you can host your website on Amazon S3. So background without any operating system. Generally, if any website, if you want to host, you need one Linux server or Windows server. If it is a Linux server, we have to set up Apache web server. If it is a Windows server, we have to configure IIS, Internet Information Service. But here, without having background operating system, directly host your website on Amazon S3. How to access that website, everything we are going to discuss in the class. Website on S3 storage. Next, lab exercises generally. So just now I explained Glacier, Amazon Glacier storage. So Amazon Glacier is a secure, durable, and extremely low-cost storage service for data archiving. Archiving is backup. Amazon Glacier is optimized for data that is rarely accessed and a retrieval time for several hours. But storage classes we are going to discuss here. Next, VPC. This is virtual private cloud. See, your organization is entered into the cloud. My organization has entered in the cloud environment. But how do you secure your own cloud? How to set up your own VPC? That is we are going to discuss in the class. S3 storage, sorry, VPC. For example, so every company having private servers and public servers. Private servers and public servers. So private servers can access public servers. Public server can access private server. But private servers cannot expose to the outside persons. For example, Infosys.com is there. They have their own private servers are there. They are also having public servers also there. For example, so you can open web browser. I can open a web browser. So I can type here www.infosys.com. So you can access this website. I can also access. But internally, they have their own staff. They are going to manage their own servers. But that servers we cannot access. Who can access? Their private staff. They can only access. But this public servers and their private servers can communicate. So how to communicate everything we are going to, how to do that network we are going to see in the class VPC. So private networks, public networks, and default VPC, non-default VPC. So default VPC means by default, once we created an account, AWS account, everybody will get to default VPC. That is subnets, 3 subnets they will allocate to you. One internet gateway they will allocate to you, and routing tables allocate 2 routing tables they will allocate to you. So All these things, so we are going to set up our own VPC, our own private subnet, our own public subnet, and these two can communicate, but private server cannot communicate internet. But when they require internet, how to launch NAT gateways, network address translation gateways. So each and everything we are going to discuss in the class VPC. So VPC enables you launch AWS resources into a virtual network that you have defined. So we have to define each and everything. How to do that one, we are going to see in the class, VPC class. Next to auto scaling. Means high availability, incremental, decremental scaling we have. So whenever there is a heavy load on my one server, the same configuration server I require another one. So between the two, load balance also going to be configured. This is auto scaling with load balancer. For example, Flipkart.com is there. So every Wednesday they are giving some discounts. On that particular day, there is a heavy load will come. So in that particular scenario, one server is not able to get that much of request. That is the reason they have to put 2 or 3 servers depending upon their requirement. Automatically between them, load balance will come. Now, for example, here you can see. Here I am typing flipkart.com, you are typing flipkart.com. For example, I am telling you. You are typing flipkart.com, I am typing flipkart.com. But your request will go to one server, my request will go to one server. But we don't know. Backend they configured load balancers. So how to configure load balancer? Practically, we are going to see auto scaling, high availability, incremental, decremental scaling, elastic load balancers. If there is a heavy incoming application traffic is there, automatically we can move to multiple servers. That is load balancer. Next to Amazon CloudWatch. This is like a monitoring tool. Amazon CloudWatch is a monitoring service to monitor your AWS resources. For example, you can see it, go to task manager here. Here, this is monitoring. Here I can monitor my CPU utilization 29%, memory utilization 26, disk utilization reads per second, 1%. So here, CloudWatch, what I can do, if my CPU utilization less than 15% or 20%, terminate the instance. If my CPU utilization, one CPU utilization is greater than 75%, launch the instance. Like I can configure in my CloudWatch. So like the network incoming packets, outgoing packets, CPU utilizations, so whatever it may be, everything we can configure in the CloudWatch. Next to simple notification service. So what is going on in my CloudWatch? I need to get notification. So Amazon SNS is a highly available, durable, secure, fully managed public subnet messaging service. So as your wish, depending upon you, if you want to get mail they will send. So if you want to get SMS also they will send, like that. SNS notifications. So we are going to our mail IDs. So we have to register our mail ID into cloud. And then automatically they will send the notification. So your particular instance is greater than 75%. That is the reason new instance is launched. The particular instance is less than 30% utilization, one is terminated. That type of resources we can get here. Next to Route 53. This is like DNS, Amazon DNS, domain name system. Name to address resolution. Name to address resolution. By default, each and every computer can communicate with the IP address. They will not communicate with the names. But how they are communicating, backend there is a DNS servers are there. For example, you can take our mobiles only. So I cannot call you by using your name. When I can call, first I have to store your number. For that, for remembering purpose, I will note the name. So you have 500 numbers in your mobile. Only names if you save, How do you remember which number is for which person? Only 4 are important numbers only we can remember. All 500 numbers, this number is for which person? That is not possible. That is the reason in cloud environment also we are going to set up DNS server. That is root 53. In Linux also DNS server is there, Windows also, every operating system has DNS. In cloud DNS we are calling as a root 53. Like you can go to your command prompt, just to flipkart.com. I showed you just now. I want to know the IP address. Go to NS lookup, give flipkart.com website name, it shows the IP address. See here, 163.53.78.110, gmail.com. 142.250.195, 165. If I give numbers like this, if I give 100 website, we cannot remember. That is the reason we have to set up DNS server. Backend, automatically the DNS will run. Like that is root 53. Next, CloudFront. It is a content delivery network. Okay. Means, for example, there is a video streaming server, bulk media you are watching or you are viewing, you are downloading, whatever it may be. So maybe the server is located in Australia, so, but your request from here to your request will go to Australia and come back to you. So to improve that access, whatever the daily, whatever the regular used data, so we can configure one nearest to improve access of speed for downloading. Nearest place one CloudFront server we are going to configure, CDN, Cloud Content Delivery Network. You can see your web page is only here. I will show you. Here, go to your history. Here is history. There is an option will come. So whatever the regular servers you are utilizing, that information it will keep in our local system. Regular pages. Regularly, I am opening GoToMeeting. So regularly, I am going to open Gmail account. Whatever the regular pages, regular videos, what you are viewing, so it will keep it in your local system only. So like history, go to history. So clear browsing data. For example, I am showing you. See cached image files, 199 MB are there. So whatever regularly I am using, so automatically our local system only it will keep. Like CloudFront also same. Whatever the regular data is there, the server is so far from here, it will keep the nearest place. Next, Elastic Beanstalk. So this is without having backend any knowledge of infrastructure platform. If you develop any code directly, Java code, Node.js, whatever it may be, whatever you developed any code, directly you can deploy it. Automatically backend it launch the instances, it configures the load balancer, it configures the CloudWatch, everything it will do. Now whatever I explained to you, Elastic load balancers, auto scaling. So depending upon your code, automatically backend it will create. This is Elastic Beanstalk. Without having to learn about infrastructure, you can run those applications automatically. Platform, it will ask the platform. So automatically it creates, its launches the instances. that is Elastic Beanstalk. Next, SQS, Simple Queue Service. So Amazon Simple Queue Service, fully message queuing services. We have MQ servers, bulk messages we can send to number of people. So that service, here we are going to discuss Simple Queue Service. Next, Cloud Formation. Our entire environment, we can make it, depending upon requirement, we can make it templates. So, for example, I configured one database server. I can take one template. I can configure one load balancer. I can take one template. When I require same configuration, again, I no need to go for start beginning from configuration. So automatically the template image, just a minute. See these cloud templates already downloaded. So ready-made. So Elastic EC2 instance. So Elastic load balancer, Beanstalk sample. So by default, there is a script is there. Just as per your wish, you can change the descriptions. So then you can deploy it ready-made. That is we are going to discuss in the class, cloud formation. Next, relational database services. So Amazon relational database service makes it easy to set up, operate scalable and relational database in the cloud. It provides cost efficient and resizable capacity while automating the consumption of administration, hardware provisioning, database setup, patching, backups, everything. They will provide the services. Like DynamoDB also. This is SQL based DB, DynamoDB non-SQL DB. So this is the entire course we are going to learn in the cloud. So if you have any doubts, please ask me.
So are you covering Lambda?
Lambda not covering, but theoretically I will explain.
Okay.
Any other questions from others?
Sir, what is the difference between like solution architect and developer associate?
Developer associate means, I will show you.
So like basically I'm a PL/SQL developer. Which one is suited for me? Like solution architect, I need to go for AWS developer associate.
See, if you want to go for developer associate, the developer associate nobody is teaching. I think you can find.
Like what exactly it is like?
Show you just.
Okay.
See, this is solutions architect associate. So developer recommended knowledge, in-depth knowledge of at least one high-level programming language, understanding of core AWS services, users, and basic AWS architecture best practice. See, if you want to go for developer also, so this solutions architect associate recommendation is compulsory. So application
okay. This kind of
service development, software development kits. This is how to deploy in developer level.
Okay. Then you mean to say basis like solution architect.
Compulsory you have to go through this course only. Then only you can understand developer. If you learn this course, automatically you can yourself you can do development, because understand all are you are going to understand here only. So for you self also you can learn development.
So will you provide any tips regarding AWS developer course, like any demo or something, so that we can get an idea?
Nobody teaching developer. That is the reason. No, every institute teaching solutions architect associate only. That is the main problem.
What a solution architect does, is he going to give the high level architecture of the AWS flow?
Yes.
High level in the sense, let's say for example, he's going to say that EC2 instance should be launched and then it has to give a domain name, so a domain DNS.
Storage, root, just
Like
know
that.
what I explained. Total.
Yeah.
We are going. That is.
Okay.
Any other doubts?
What is this course for?
And what?
So
Who can
Srinivas,
join?
like, yeah, I have one question. Like, so the course, whatever you told, like the content, right? So we follow and we practice that one, so we can crack solution architect associate.
Yes. You can write.
Okay, thank you.
Srinivas, and one more question. Apart from these, are there any other services available in the AWS? So, for example, somebody asked Lambda. So, if I want to learn Lambda myself, how can I go for that?
All services are there. Deep learning, machine learning, multimedia services. More than 150 services are there. So once you log in.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just a minute.
Yeah.
I am logging to my account.
Okay.
Now click on services here. There is an option.
Okay.
Say this much of services are there. Developer to code, star code, all.
Yeah. So in a high level, if I want to know what every service is doing, how can I go? How can I learn that?
See, all services nobody can learn. So they are in the separate parts. See, machine learning.
Yeah.
AWS
So, for example,
costing.
I want to learn Lambda. So, do I get any help from the Amazon Web Services site?
Yeah, Lambda. So you can click on Lambda. So you can go through the
documentation. Is there. Okay.
Yeah, there's Lambda functions dashboard. So you can go through the documentation. So you can go through one by one steps. Each and everything they provide documentation.
Where is the documentation?
AWS documentation even directly. You can type Lambda configuration from AWS. So automatically document.
Okay.
Any other questions? Sir, tomorrow, same time.
Srinivas, one question. Like, sorry to bother. Are you covering the container services also?
Container services, those are come under developer tracks.
Oh, those won't come under developer?
Sure. I'm asking who can join this course? Like, what is this course for?
Cloud administrator.
Only cloud administrator. Like, I'm a developer, so should I join or?
See, should be every developer who want to learn developer also must learn this course. That is the reason I am telling you. You must have the strong knowledge in this services, then only you can understand the developer parts.
So 30 days are sufficient for all this content.
Not 25 days it will go. 25 to 30 days.
Okay.
25 to 30 days. 1 month total.
And everything is covered within a month.
Each and everything within a month with the practical scenarios.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all. Tomorrow, same time we are going to communicate. Tomorrow I will give the introduction, AWS introduction and architecture. And remaining classes, first class we are going to start EC2 instance. Okay, thank you all.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.